triage the market. Matt, we're going to do some triage here right away. Again, Miss Trade will be a ghost today. Matt has a, let's face it, he's got a face for radio. Everybody knows that. And so when he talks, you will just see his name, Matt Davio. Matt, I wanted to point out.
I'm busy tubing.
BYND, current air quality, 162 in the unhealthy zone.
Yeah, we can't see that.
You can't see that?
No, it's just one blurry pink thing.
Come on. I can see it. You can't see that?
No.
You still can't see it. BYND?
Barely. Doesn't matter. It's
BYND.
It's a little higher than Beijing, you're saying.
Hold on a second. Yeah, Beijing right now. Beijing.
G?
How many times did it take? 152 in Beijing. Creeping higher.
They're about the same.
162 to 152. Matt,
Yet the Chinese are living longer.
let's bring it up. Who had this? Ian Bremer shares blue check mark. Ian, I'm a blue check mark myself. China passes United States in life expectancy. Should be a headline in every U.S. newspaper. Well, Ian, first of all, I have a problem trusting the Chinese and their data.
Yeah, but I trust the mRNA. So that's
as they only had what
they did not. They did not have the mRNA technology.
They did not. They did not. So this going forward might be very interesting.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, Matt, other than Chinese food is healthy, I guess.
Well, here's the deal. I got quality, something. I got something.
Quality doesn't matter, maybe?
It doesn't matter.
What do you got for us?
I got Zoom making, testing these 78 lows again. So, and apparently, it's because they can't get the video to work this week. Rebooted the freaking thing like 3 times. So apparently,
Matt, the recording is paused. How about you unpause the recording so we can actually record this?
Really?
We need Lee in the production booth to step up his game because it's ridiculous. No, you can continue sharing, just continue recording.
I don't even see record. I don't know, where is it? It's it. Oh, there it is.
Recording in progress. All right, all the wheels fell off so far. That's okay. That's okay. All right, Matt.
Well,
also,
if you joined us late, Zoom is heading to the basement. Interesting. I find that it's making new lows.
Interesting that your video doesn't seem to work in Zoom.
Yeah,
and it's been an ongoing problem, right? I mean, I don't know how many times you've rebooted over the last year, but it's not been once.
No, yeah, they got issues.
All right,
so the stock, is testing lows. What's the other stock that I want to bring up real quick here, talking about social media, et cetera, is Facebook. By the way, making new lows.
Bring it up, and again, because I just saw, I have a real hard time believing the thing that I just saw in a newsletter about how Christmas spending will outpace. Not quite as good as last year, but definitely like 7.1% better than the first COVID year. Yeah. I don't know. I don't believe it.
Seems unlikely, but 155 traded today, 155.51 low was down here back in June, 153s. So basically, just again, dragging along the bottom here, both of these, Zoom and Meta, everything. I mean, Microsoft was up big the last few days. Apple was up big, and they just got rocked. Just rocked. 269 on Microsoft, all the way down to 255 in those man boobs. Poor Bill Gates. And bigger news for me today is Jacinda, or whatever her name is, out of New Zealand. Do you have any thoughts on her ending all mandates and health concerns? It's over. But she's got an election coming up.
Yeah. Well, the incredible thing is that they're still holding on to them north of the border. When the New Zealanders for sure were the strictest, right?
They were the worst.
And the Aussies. I mean, they were locking people up left, right, and center.
Yeah, both of
them. I wanted to share this, Matt. You shared this, Lucas Tomlinson on Twitter. U.S. inflation January 2021, 1.4, 1.7, 2.6, 4.2, 5.0, 5.4, 5.4, 5.3, 5.4, 6.2, 6.8, 7. The thing that blows me away when I look at this is how perfectly symmetrical. They've presented the data.
Mhm.
And I'm an immediate skeptic when I see something like that. It reminded me of
Yeah, we're on the
somebody
left
talk-
side of the bell curve right now, right? Yeah.
we're supposedly on the right side of the bell curve now. 85891, 8583. Everything's fine.
Right. So
We're
next
on the
time,
right side.
next time.
It reminded me of a statistics professor flunking people for not doing the coin flip of 100 heads or tails when he looked at their data because they didn't have any. It was perfectly symmetrical, just like this appears. That's not how the real world works.
Well, it is when you own the data and you know,
and you
whoever
get to
counts,
present the data in whatever light you want.
whoever counts the votes. That's all that matters, you know.
I do know. All right, Matt, let's look at the reaction because the stocks got sneezed. But what about the bond market? Why don't you bring that up and let's start there.
Yeah, we can start there. But more importantly, it was a schmeeze. And, you know, Lee and I were talking about it yesterday. That close yesterday just felt so stinky. And they pushed it up after the close too, right? I'm like, and I sat here in front of Lee and said, I'm selling it big. And anything up to, 13.2 tomorrow, I'm selling. We got up to 12.994. So orders were filled on the CPI number and whoosh, because everybody expected much better, and it wasn't better than better. So guess what? It's not going away, and Joe's not doing his job. Nothing new here, but the numbers are way worse than he's telling you. And everybody, I think the market realizes this. Kramer, of course, called a bottom again last night before this, and today he's going, market's wrong.
The guy,
like Lee and I were watching CNBC, and he was mad, and I was like, oh, fuck off, Kramer. Like, you're the worst. And he's trading from he's trading. He's doing his $2 million a year show from the Seattle the Needle. That's where he is this week. So he's just totally living out, licking feet, and enjoying the lid fest up there in Seattle, where the police have all quit, and you can steal anything you want and do whatever you want. So enjoy.
Parking is still difficult, though. I do know that.
But Russell Wilson, who needs him?
Dude, Russell Wilson. I mean, talk about an inability to finish. Holy shit.
Yep.
What do they say? It was the first time since the 1980s that a team lost the ball in whatever in goal, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, inside the 5. Unbelievable. And then they still almost won. So I got to tell you, I think you can sell Seattle now for the rest of the season.
Really? All right.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
All right. We'll take a look at so interesting. Last 2 days, the shittiest volume we've had probably all year. And that led us up, this whole move higher. And guess what? The bottom just fell out. There was no more buyers left. And we're all the way back below the 61.8 of this move. And it happened in 30 minutes, Bob. So if you don't think this volatility, and again, this was a 7% rally on both the SPOOs and the NASDAQ. It was insane. On no volume. So, and the bonds during all this, as you said, what were they doing? And I talked about it yesterday. We talked about it on the show. The reason why I was so bearish was the bonds were weak yesterday. They were weak all day. They closed at the lows, and then they took them up into the number, and then they cracked them again. So again, we're back. We said we're going to test that 131. Well, 131.04. Is that all? Is that all there is, Bob? But you tell me.
No chance. There's no chance that's all there is.
But
there's no chance.
It never moved.
Yeah, I know. And the VIX is barely up. The VIX is 25.5. So
it topped at 26.
There's just nothing going on. I mean, it's so yeah.
What is going on is Lee's mic in the booth hasn't been muted.
I know. Well, he's talking over my ear here. So
all right.
We don't pay me.
All right, Matt, let me share for a second because there was one other thing that I wanted to do. And it's amazing to me sometimes how your Twitter, you ever wonder, like this happened twice recently, how your Twitter feed just perfectly, where the hell is it? Perfectly encapsulates like one tweet after another. What I'm thinking about was during the Bear game, the first half, Jeff Carter, our friend Jeff said, the Bears could really be used for people that can't sleep. You just watch the Bears, right?
Right.
And I swear to God, the very next tweet in my feed was this article about how important sleep is for your health.
Yeah.
They just serve it up perfectly for you.
Yeah.
We got to talk two things. Amazon now, Thursday night football will be on Amazon Prime exclusively. So I want to look at the Amazon Prime. And then also, just right over here from Fortune, home prices are falling in these 98, now it's 98 major housing markets. So I want to look at Amazon, Matt. Why don't you bring it up? Amazon and any home index that you would like to share.
Sure, I can do that. I'm going to start with, before I do that, since we talked about Apple yesterday and how we thought that was a good sell spot date, a couple days after the event when everything was, it was up huge yesterday, right? And today,
Bring it up. We don't see it.
I'm getting there. Hold your horses. Again, yesterday we were kind of, after the event last week, we're topping off here at 165, and now all the way back down to 156. Think about that move. I mean, this is Apple we're talking about. This is not, this is not a small company. So the fact that it shows you how that was total fast money in there and didn't last. 165.
Not only that, Matt, when you relook at that and its inability to hold that value range, that is a big ass value range that it's creeped back into. And again, we just keep talking about
it only went up yesterday. Actually, that was the only time. So
right. We call that a throw over, right, man?
We call that a throw over, and now you're back to where you were. So yeah, like if you loved it yesterday at 165, you should be piling in at 156 because that's a 4% sell-off, I guess, if you loved it then. But I don't. Again, there's nothing new on these Apple iPhone 14s, nor the watch, nor the computers. There's nothing new. So I think you're going to be seeing this stuff deeply discounted. And I don't know. This isn't. Again, this is the start of bad news coming. I still think we
and again, the only bad news we've had is inflation.
Yep.
Right. That's the only bad news. Now, Goldman saying they're laying off. Amazon said they're laying off. These feedback loops are just starting.
Yeah, and that's why I don't understand how people like Carl Quintanilla is telling us that rates are going, or inflation is going lower. Based on what, Carl? Food's through the moon, over the moon, and through it like cheese. Amazon down $7 today, 5%. Same story, right? They're all the same chart. Everything is one. So, there's no safety in gold. There's no safety in Bitcoin, and there's no safety.
Yeah, we got to bring that one up too. We got to bring the gold up after your housing du jour. But
yeah, but I want to talk.
Yeah,
this is Amazon again, 137.79 all the way back to 129, down 5% today. And again, it's just not going really, this is not going anywhere. The other thing I want to point out before we get to housing.
So you're telling me Thursday night football can't save Amazon Prime?
Yeah, nobody cares. Even though that might be one of the better games of the week, obviously with Mahomes and
Herbert,
right?
Herbert,
Bobby Hebert.
Depending if he's French or not.
I think. Remember when the Lions had Bobby Hebert with he was their quarterback back in the.
Oh yeah, the Cajun, the raging Cajun.
Yeah. So I want to bring this up. 2-year rates again over 10 years. Inversion, big time. 2-year right now is 3.774. The 10 years 3.443. That's a huge difference, and it's pretty. And the 5 years at 3.6. So again, huge move today. 5.33% increase in the rates. That brings us back to your du jour.
Yeah,
housing. This is the HGX, just the Philly Housing Index, and again.
And that was the gap. Did they gap that lower today?
They gapped that lower today, but it's not a new low. So
no, but it sure is it sure has trapped a fair amount of people.
Yeah, but I would say this: like if you're Mr. Uber bullish housing markets, I guess there's a diversion between new highs and interest rates, and housing has not. It's either it knows something that the bonds don't, but I'm going to tell you there's no chance on that one. So, the bonds are definitely smarter than the realtors. Definitely in this town. So, buyer beware. This is not that. I saw a house yesterday on Lava sold for 700, again, 800 square feet. So things are effed up, effed up.
$1,000 a square foot. They're going.
$1,000 a square foot, no garage, no parking except on the street. And it's literally, I don't even know how they get to 800 square feet. That place looks like
I mean, at some point,
looks like the garage here in the back.
it should be criminal, shouldn't it? I mean, it should be criminal. There should be a criminal investigation.
Somebody's buying a $700,000 lot that you can't build anything bigger than 500 square feet. So I don't know what they're going to do. Like, what's the upside here? Somebody's got daddy's money, I guess. I don't know what's going. Anybody buying right now? Like, what's wrong? You got to check your temperature. Like, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Why don't we
so XHB? Let's just look. That's the index. XHB obviously had a little rally here with the rest of the market. Went from, and this is the Spider Housing Index. 63 was the high yesterday, all the way down to 59.80. The low again recently 58.25. So again, housing not making new lows, yet interest rates making new highs. So again, place your bets. If you think housing is going to, continue to go ripping, and you want to fade this interest rate move to 3.8 on the 2-year, again, you can earn 3.8. Just put it into a treasury bond product at your brokerage right now and sit in cash. It's better than trying to catch falling knives like Meta and Apple and Amazon. If you're afraid to go to the short side, this is probably a better move for you right now.
I'll go to the dark side.
You're muted. We can't hear you.
I just had a thought. I want you to bring up Altria. We've talked about it before because that dividend, and it was, I think it was 7 or 8% when we looked at it last, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a little under, I think it was 7. Now it's at 8.33.
Well, bring it up because as times get rough, I think
the stock's gone lower, obviously, from the Juul news. But it's come, it rallied all the way up here to 46, was as low as 41s, a little lower, maybe 40 down here in July in the summer. So it had a rally, now it's pulling back. So again, yeah, a nice 8.33% dividend.
I mean, honest to God,
the people who still smoke cigarettes aren't going to stop smoking them.
No, and it's a worldwide market. That's for sure. For sure. All right, lastly, but not leastly, I just wanted to point out this too. I didn't see it. I wish I did. But New York Post reporting CNBC's Rick Santelli blames Biden spending for high inflation. Nothing is sinking in as their supposed proposal.
You mean the Inflation Reduction Act?
The Inflation Reduction Act. It's like telling your kid to stop smoking crack and then give him 100 as he goes to the corner.
Right.
Yeah,
but stop and get me some milk with this 100.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Mm.
All right, I guess Matt, asterisk CK yes is trending. I always like seeing what's trending. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
here, let me ask you this. I want to look at a stock here. Defensive stocks, because you want to talk about gold a little bit. I'll just bring up. You can pick up Consolidate, Con Ed, whatever you want, but I'm just going to bring up where I grew up, Midwest, Detroit Edison, DTE Energy Company. Like somebody tweeted the other day, and I responded, what company, like if you were forced to buy a stock for the next year, I suggested Mo was one of them, something with a dividend, something that's got repetitive sales and addicted clients. And the addiction is nicotine. In this case, the addiction is heat, right? Because we're coming into winter.
Is that a crazy world when that's the comment? I'm addicted to being warm. That is,
so which do you want? So I'm bringing it up again because I think if you want to own stocks, own something that's paying you at least a dividend. And listen, I don't see these energy bills going lower. Doesn't necessarily.
What is the dividend? I can't see it.
It's like 2.6%. So, and they're all
Again,
around.
when the dividend is upside down from the 2-year rate, I mean,
Yeah.
there is major problems in the world.
Yes, again, and then this is the point. Like, you're better off buying 2-year bonds right now if you really are scared of, you shouldn't be buying stocks right now because we haven't bottomed. But if you have to, why wouldn't you earn 3.77% on a 2-year? Right, that's locked in.
And take no price risk.
And that's a full 50% more than Detroit Edison. So that's the lesson in this conversation is you have to look at the things where they are right now, where they might be going, who knows, but where they are right now, it's better off to, put your money into a 2-year, lock it up, especially, if you've had a good run and took profits over the last couple of years when stocks went 10x. Now, earn yourself 4% on the profits that you had and wait for a time to buy when things are much better. That's what you should do. And if you don't want to play the dark side, if you don't want to play the short side, because these rallies, I mean, what is this, the fifth rally we've had now this year? That is just insane. It goes straight up. It's like, I feel like we're playing chutes and ladders. And every time the ladder goes up, I'm like, all right, just wait for 7 to 15%, sell it again, and bang, CPI comes out, boom, done, game over.
Yeah, Matt, the dollar was projected as dead. Let's do dollar and gold.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the dollar, again, not making new highs today, Bob, but it is up big. Let me look at gold first for you here. And then and we'll look at gold, we'll look at Bitcoin, and then we'll look at the dollar just so we can see. Again, you want to put your money where the flows are going. Gold is down $25 today, 1.5%. There is no safety, even with, right? Gold bugs.
I mean, seriously.
Wait, hold on. This is what gold bugs tell us. When there's inflation, you got to buy gold because gold will rip through the roof. Well, I don't see that. We've had nothing but inflation. We just talked about it to open the show. And if you look at a 144-minute chart, all we've done is go down. So what you're saying is that's not true.
Again, I mean, when the narrative, when the facts on the ground do not align with your hypothesis, something has to change. Something.
And the dollar index today, 109.59 as we speak, up a 1.25%, which is a big move. And again, I was telling Lee yesterday, those 108s were a screaming buy. We talked about it. We talked about it here on the trading floor, on the BYND trading floor. Lee and I we were here yesterday. And all the way back here, again, it was, what was it, 108? Yeah, got down to 108.05 yesterday. So if you were smart enough to, this again is a daily chart. There's nothing bearish about this chart. It is just ratcheting its way, continues to make new highs and new, higher lows. There's nothing here that's negative. All we do is come and test like the last high. So that's kind of what we did here. We tested, 108, a little bit below it. We got down to 108 even. And just ripped faces off again because the dollar won't go down until 100%, 120% of the confidence in the US government is gone. Now we're getting close, but it might be next year. I don't know when it will be exactly, but it's not going to be today. It's not going to be tomorrow. So this dollar, you and I continue to say 120 at least, right?
At least 112 right now. Available.
Well, 120. 121 is here on. Was the last high. So again, we're trading.
Let me just show, since people love hockey sticks.
Yep.
Let me share this little hockey stick on the monthly. 116 available this month, and the kick is it's evident, Matt. Hockey stick here. I mean, you fade this at your own peril. If this was a commodity, if this was something that doesn't have to make sense, and by the way, that's the world that we live in now. I mean, markets generally never had to make sense. And in fact, the oldest adage ever is the market can stay uncoupled with reality longer than you can stay solvent.
Yeah.
Especially in commodities, where it is a truly a zero-sum game of win-loss.
Let me bring up the Bitcoin chart real quick, just so again to show again that we're not full of doo-doo. everything is hit today. It doesn't matter what you own. And again, this 22,830, it hit this morning, all the way down here to 2,000, down $2,000 basically. That's 10%, Bob. Last I checked, that's a freaking face ripper. That's a face ripper. So all you chasing for that 25 run again, it's not coming. So, and again, the long-term chart still shows 8,800. It had nothing's changing there. We're coming down here to 83, 85, 8,800. And then honestly, we're going to zero. So whatever works for you. You can write it down.
Hey, you know what's an important chart, especially in the crypto world, if you want to talk crypto, and let me bring it up. Because another one that is interesting, Matt, it's interesting. And that's the cross. We talk about the cross. As an old currency trader, nothing more important than the cross. I mean, there's a lot of times there's more, and we've talked about this. A lot of times there's more alpha instead of just being DXY. It's actually those pairs, like, long the Norwegian kroner, short the Filipino dollar. There's a lot more alpha. But anyway, this is the Ether. That's Ether US dollar, but the Ether Bitcoin, Matt, and on the monthly, we talked about this several weeks ago, and I said anything over 0.08, if you are long this thing and had it on, put it down here at 0.04, it's done twice as good as just holding Bitcoin. But into these tops that it's made before, you got to be taking profits, and you can see that on the monthly. Let's fractal into the daily and just see how well that thing rolled over. Again, I would not want to be right now. If we continue south, I'm saying that you do not want to be holding Ether. Bitcoin is a better alternative if you're all in, if you're a hodler. That's what I'm seeing here, man. Had a great run. And again, we keep talking about it. Like, one of your biggest jobs as a trader is to ring the register. You got to ring the register. You got to take your profits.
Especially in a market that's not a 10x market.
Bingo.
So, like you said, you double your opportunity there. Move on. It's the next trade. And I want to talk about this kind of in a little making fun a little bit here. But there's also no safety in fake meat, Bill Gates, and there's no safety in exercise bikes. Okay, so I just want to talk about that a little bit today. This is Beyond Meat, Bob, trading down again 9% today. Had that little rally into August, and we talked about it. Sell it, sell it, sell it. This is junk, slime. Nobody is eating this shit. Now they're pushing crickets because nobody would eat the slime. So now they're pushing crickets. But Peloton also, again, how many times have we seen the exercise fad companies come public and bust and rinse and repeat? Like Lee said, who's buying a Peloton cycle when they need to fill up their gas at $4.80 a gallon?
Dude, it was $100.
Yeah.
$100. That's $50 more than I filled up in Kansas. Twice as much money to fill up on the coast of Oregon than in central Kansas.
Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. Toto.
Exactly. Toto.
So again, 1409, this ran up to, had a 50% run. If you were lucky enough to catch that, great. You made 50%, take your money. It's back to 9 again. Doesn't mean it's time to buy. That's all I'm going to say on that. Does not mean it's time to buy.
Well, since nobody's going to be able to afford electricity and running their dryer, it will be good for indoor clothesline.
Yes, that Lee pointed that out earlier this morning.
We can use the bicycle to run the dryer.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's for.
Bicycle powered dryers.
Indoor clotheslines.
Right.
Bingo.
So I find that interesting. And still, once again, let's talk about it. Nobody's going to space. Nobody's going to Mars. And this,
especially not Elon. He is not.
Well, especially
no chance. He's not going to be. I'll be first. Put me on that rocket ship. But no chance.
516 was the bottom. 857. We're back to 559 again. I think Zoom, Space, Peloton. When these things all start making new lows, the market will be making new lows. So they're good. They're I bring them up to ingest, and I also bring them up just to share with you that there's a lot of things you can be watching that should be pointing to what's going on in the reality of the world. Shopify, I just want to talk about that again, had a big rally up here to 36 from 28 area, but again has resumed. And you know, this is still a $41 billion market cap, Bob. It's astounding to me, $41 billion. They are making money, but you know, this is not the time, I don't think.
What is it? What is that bracket?
It's basically 28 to 40.
So we're talking it's an $8 stock eventually.
Yeah, I mean, if it breaks, you know, you got to, well, 14. How about a $14, $15 if it breaks here? Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
And that is meaty. Man,
That is meaty. And that's going back to May. That's going back to May that we've been in this, you know, range. So that, you know, and just for you, you know, just so people, you know, we don't leave aside the silver bros. You know, silver we haven't looked at in a while, but it's going to be doing the same thing gold is doing. Again, peaked here in 24 up there this summer, and continues to make lower highs just like gold, and continues to go down. And again, that low on the SLV, which is the ETF, down here at 16, trading at 1791 right now. So no safety in silver either, Bob. No safety in silver, trading 1942 on the spot. And you know, the future, actually the silver futures don't look as bad as some of the rest of the market, but it ran right to where it should have been rejected, and it was handily rejected by the CPI this morning. And by the way, RBOB has been rallying, and if you want to look to buy something, this might be one of those. This might be one of those. As long as we hold that low down here at 230, you're looking at a 13-cent stretch. But this to me looks like you might want to start nibbling on gasoline if you buy into the story that crude, in my opinion, is going higher. And so I think this is quite a value play, especially when you pull back. I think, you know, RBOB had gotten up to 430, so it's interesting. I think you can, you know, possibly take a look at this. Natural gas is on sale today, and if you're looking for things to buy, again, natural gas or one of the ETFs around natural gas, or one of the, you know, royalty trusts that deals like a Kinder Morgan or some of these companies, right? That are royalty trust means they have to pay back every dollar they make to the shareholders, right? Their trusts. So it's kind of like even better than dividends, because they're going to pay you the cash. They have to pay it out. So
yeah, they don't have to declare it. They have to.
They have to. So those are good names to own in a world like we're in. I mean, what's happening in Germany is just insane. What's happening in the UK with the Queen, you know, they're shutting down the country, and then people are like, I don't know if you saw this, like there was some racial tension going on there in London today, and there's all these people marching, and BBC saying people are marching for the Queen, yet they're all black people. They don't care about the Queen. There's something going on there that has nothing to do with the Queen. It's actually against the Queen, but just goes to show you that this media barrage and narrative spin is happening everywhere, especially, you know, Europe and Western Europe and in the United States. And you really start, you know, what are your thoughts on Jacinda again from New Zealand? You know, just, I mean, I got to bring it up again. How can you not question what has happened in the world over the last 2 years when all of a sudden, and they were just talking about, they're still talking about boosters and everything, and then all of a sudden there's no mandates, like it's over?
Especially as heavy-fisted as they were, and how righteous their rhetoric was.
Yeah,
it's incredible. It's
you know,
incredible
and then
shift.
that brings me back to the biggest fraud of our time, bigger than Enron. I swear, you know, again, now if this ever happens, it's going to be because governments pushed it, right? And so I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could. But this thing, you know, is again down $8 today, down 6% after that rally to 197, which we talked about again in early August. Hammer the shit out of it. It's not going up. And again, 115 to 200, let's call it $85 is the next move. 85 from 115 takes you down to 30, Bob. That's about the lower end of the profile. So I don't know what's going to cause that to happen, but that break here would get you to here, and you're going to have to close above 200 to get the next 85 to 285 above, right?
Yeah, that ain't happening.
So,
all right, Matt, listen, let me give you a little view. Oh yeah. crystal clear air here on the southern Oregon coast.
Well, I could give you a clearer blue sky here, but okay.
Yeah, sure you can.
Lee,
All right,
Lee's not
that's
in.
it.
Lee's
That's
not
what
in
we
his
got.
head. Lee's not in his head. He's shaking his head.
Right on.
It's
All right,
blue
Matt.
sky.
That's it. Please visit us at marketbubbles.io. Share, retweet. Say that again. Retweet. And plagiarize. We don't mind that, do we, Matt? Visit Amazon.com and buy some shrimp mojo and do yourself a favor. Cook someone a meal. That's what they say.
Will you please take video of you in a wetsuit surfing today?
I'm going just
Since-
James Bond
Okay.
style. How about that?
I
James
want
Bond.
to see you out there supping with your Speedo on the Oregon coast.
James Bond style. The shrinkage could be a 2 or 3 week ordeal, though. Max shrinkage. In fact, that I might even have my name legally changed to Max Shrinkage if I go in that water. All right, man. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Matt. We'll see you tomorrow, Matt.